Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Caroline, for speaking today. It's great to have you here. So, Caroline MacLennan, after years, excuse me, Caroline MacLennan is our speaker for today, and she'll be presenting on 5 things to start now to land your dream job. After years of being a job seeker as well as working with talent acquisition personnel, Caroline understands the challenges and frustrations that job seekers face. Through experience, research, and passion for helping others, Caroline works with clients to get clear on their career goal, gain the confidence to pursue it, and land their dream job. Thank you for speaking today. Good luck with your presentation.
Thank you. Okay, let me just get this pulled up. I forget now how, I'm so sorry. I forget how I was able to do this without having it go to the total full screen. Oh, because then I can't see people. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll just...
Hi, I just came back on to
sorry.
if you minimize the window, like if you minimize the PowerPoint window, and kind of like make it take up half of the screen, you can do it like that, so you can still see the chat. I'm not sure if you know what I mean.
So if I do that?
Yeah, so if you click that, and then so it takes up half your screen, right? And then you just you see at the bottom, there's sort of a book symbol. It says reading view.
Ah, that's right, the reading view.
And then you just have to drag the window over to the side where you can still see the chat on the screen.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, great.
Sorry, guys. Oh, it still went into the present. There we go. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Well, hello and welcome. So as Alex was saying, my name is Carolyn. I am a career coach and the founder of Career in Motion. So I'm assuming that a lot of you are job seekers. And if you are, this is coming at you at just the right time. So before we jump into the 5 things for you to do in order to land your dream job, I first want to touch base on what hiring seasons look like in Canada. So if you look up here to the left-hand corner, we've got Q1, which is the recruitment ramp up that takes place from January to March. So in January, as you can probably assume, a lot of companies are just getting back from holidays, and there isn't really a whole lot going on other than reviewing budgets, reviewing previous years, and trying to come up with, what roles they need to hire to have a successful business for that year. So January tends to be kind of that planning month. February, you start to see a lot of those job postings start to come out. And then February and March, you'll really start to see the beginnings of the interview process take place. Now, if we jump down to Q2, which is April to June, this is the peak hiring season. So they know what jobs they're hiring for, but they also want to make sure they get everybody in before the summer comes up, because a lot of people go on holidays, as you can assume. So April to June, this is where you really want to be focusing a lot of your attention on looking at job opportunities. So then we go into Q3, which is kind of that summer lull. And I say that only because a lot of companies will go on holiday, or recruiters will go on holiday. And so things slow down a little bit. However, if you are in an area that might be a little bit more specialized, or has a little bit more complex skill set, this could actually be a good time for you. It allows recruiters who are not on holiday to slow down and take their time looking through the right candidates for more of those complex positions. And lastly, Q4, I kind of term it the mixed bag because it really is a mixed bag. October, November can be massive hiring months, gearing up for the Christmas season. A lot of companies may have excess budget that they have for hires. They want to use that up. So October, November can be very, very good for hiring. In other industries, maybe not so much. For myself, I've been hired twice in November. So it definitely happens. But that brings us to this month, which is December. And this is why I say this is the most perfect time to be in this conversation, because this is like a good prep time. Everything's kind of taken a back seat. Nobody's really thinking about making a hire at this point in time, given that we're going on Christmas holidays very soon. There's lots of holiday parties. It's COVID, so it's a little different this year, but this is really, really a good time for you as a job seeker to take the next 5 steps I'm going to get into right now. So the 5 things to start right now to land your dream job are to create a positive mindset, create your online presence, build meaningful relationships, professional development, and working on your resume and your profile. So first, we want to think about the mindset and making sure that we're in that positive mindset. So we all know that 2020 was just a disaster. So if we all just kind of picture 2020 just kind of coming down this conveyor belt and then just like waving goodbye as it goes into a dumpster fire, and just let that go. And then we turn our attention back to the future, and looking forward to what is going to be coming up in 2021. So the next thing to do is to really get clear on what you want. And as a career coach, this is really where my area is to help my clients get that sort of clarity that they're looking for. Some questions that you can be asking yourself are, what brings me joy? Why does that bring me joy? And really start to question yourself and write these things down. Once you are clear on what you want to try to put that into a goal format. And that will be a lot easier for you to kind of internalize. So by writing down a goal, I've given you a bit of a template that you can work with here. So you could write something along the lines of, by May 2021, I will be working at blank company or blank industry as a whatever role and earning the specific salary that you want to be earning as long as it makes sense. So that's where a little bit of research will come into play. Now, this sounds maybe a little bit cheesy, but you want to be repeating this out loud to yourself every single day, at least once a day. The reason for that is if we just think about it, it just sort of sits on top of our consciousness, and we really have to make sure that we're thinking about it. If we say it out loud, we hear it, it goes into our subconscious, and we can really internalize it, and it starts to just come up, not even consciously. So it's a really, really good approach to take. And if you don't believe me, which I used to believe this was a bit like woo-woo stuff, but it really is true. Mindset is huge. So a book that I would highly encourage you read over the holidays is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He talks all about mindset and creating a future for yourself that you would really want. And you can also YouTube, science behind mindset, positive thinking. Those are some good resources to utilize. You can see some science experiments that people have done that have seen the effects on changing mindset to how people perform. The second is creating your online presence. So you want to create a LinkedIn profile if you don't already have one, and make sure you're using a photo of yourself, one that's smiling, very inviting. This is the first impression really that people will have of you, especially employers. So you want to make sure that you're giving off a very good, happy, strong vibe. If you're more into the creative side of things, a online portfolio might be a better option for you. So there are some free online portfolios you can take advantage of that I've listed there. So if you're a writer, a designer, an artist, a photographer, this would be a great place to showcase all of your work in one space. The next thing I would suggest is joining some online communities. So you've got Facebook, LinkedIn, and Meetup, which is a really, really cool app or website for you to connect with like-minded individuals. So you may want to research what industry you're interested in or any hobbies, and start to converse with people that are in those communities. It's very important that you're contributing to the conversation, not showing up to say, I want a job in this industry. You can maybe comment on someone's article or share some good content, have a nice back and forth, pose a question to the group that you want to have answered. That really gets the ball rolling on those types of things. And speaking of that, we also want to make sure that we're building meaningful relationships. So in addition to joining those communities, You can also go a little bit further and introduce yourself to specific individuals. So I'll use LinkedIn as an example for this. If you go to the search bar in the top, you can put in a industry, you can put in a company, or you can search by name as well. So as an example, I'm going to say a digital marketer. So if I wanted to get into digital marketing, I would type in digital marketing, and anyone with that role or title in their name will come up. What you can do from there is then send them an invite, say you're looking to connect, be genuinely curious and interested in them, ask them to share about their experience. If possible, to get even stronger of a response, look at their profile, notice any promotions they've had or any changes in their employment, any articles that they might have published or shared. Read that article, comment on it, ask them what their opinion was. If you ask them a direct question, they're going to be more apt to respond to you. But you don't want to enter that relationship by immediately saying to them, I'm looking for a job, can you help me? That's not the way to go. We're all about building relationships first, and that will come down the line. Now, one thing that I wanted to share with you as well that seems to get overlooked a lot of the time is something called employee referrals, which is pretty self-explanatory. But employee referrals are basically loved by talent acquisition. And the reason being is that talent acquisition personnel or recruiters don't have to spend all their time and money in searching for the right candidates. If their existing employees have a former colleague or a friend that they can just literally hand them on a silver platter, they're going to take that over looking through thousands of resumes. So the purpose here would be to build these genuine relationships so that in the future, they may refer you for a position in their company. And one of the incentives for them to do this is that companies are now running these various programs to really incentivize their staff to refer other hires. I've seen incentives from $500 to $2,000 per referral that actually gets hired on. So pretty much everybody wins in that situation. Your friend, you, and the employer win. So it's great all around. Now, in terms of professional development, so if you're still kind of thinking like you're not entirely sure what you want to do, but you know what you're interested in, or perhaps you have an interest, but you're not so knowledgeable of it, taking some online courses is a great way to start. Here are some examples of platforms that have some online courses, such as LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, EduCity, which is a brand new Canada-based company, and Stack Skills. So I've noticed that a lot of these are free, and if they're not free, they're significantly reduced, especially given the whole COVID time. They've really lowered their rates on that. So it's been very, very helpful. Now, in the professional development, what's great about these courses is a lot of them will provide you with a certification. And so you can actually put that on your LinkedIn profile, or you can add it to your resume, what have you. But this shows employers that not only are you self-motivated and driven, that you have interest in that industry or in the company, but also that you're coachable. And hiring a coachable person, someone who's flexible, is very, very important to employers. And lastly, just touching base on the resume and profile. So when you're writing your resume, you want to make sure that you're tailoring your resume to each role that you're applying for. So for example, if you're going for sales roles or account management or customer success, they all will overlap in some way, but it's very important to put the key points first as they relate to each position. Another thing to include in your resume are some of the more transferable skills. So those are your softer skills. People tend to overlook the importance of these transferable soft skills. And lastly, following the SMART model for writing your resume. So I'll just go into that a little bit further here. So the top 5 transferable skills of 2020 are creativity, So not just in terms of aesthetics, but also in terms of ideas and things of that nature. Persuasion. So this is very important, obviously, for sales and to show your ability to lead. Collaboration. You want to be able to portray, are you, a leadership type of person in a collaborative environment, or do you tend to just contribute or organize the team? What role do you play in that collaborative team environment? Adaptability, as we all know, things are changing very, very quickly day to day, especially this year with COVID. It's just really, really ramped up the changes that are happening in society. So being adaptable and flexible, very important. And lastly, but probably most importantly, is emotional intelligence. This is probably or it was not actually on the list last year. It just made it onto the list this year. But emotional intelligence really refers to the ability to manage your emotions. So obviously you feel things, but in order to manage those, de-escalate any sort of issues that may arise, but the ability to also show empathy for others is huge. A lot of companies are now hiring coaches to come in and run leadership training as it relates to emotional intelligence. That's how important this skill is becoming. So if you have the chance to attend a workshop or a course on emotional intelligence, I would highly recommend it because it's a very, very important skill, especially if you want to move up into leadership positions. Now, in terms of SMART goals, so if you think about, so basically it all means something here. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So what that means is that you want to try to incorporate these SMART goals into every point as much as possible as you can on your resume. So if we think of an example, so I'm going to use a server as an example. We can say, the server may have been with the restaurant for a few years, which shows loyalty. Managing upwards of 10 to 15 tables at a time. This points to being specific, measurable, and time-bound. Of these 10 to 15 tables, the customers have varying dietary needs, and they're at various stages of their meals. And so the server is then displaying large amounts of organization, prioritization, as well as customer service. And now a server might notice that a table has finished a meal, so they are dessert menu. This shows they're proactive, and they can show the art of persuasiveness as well. So you can see how you can really incorporate the SMART and the soft skills all together in one. So just to recap, that was a lot of information, but the takeaways from this are you want to be nurturing a positive mindset. Forget about 2020. It's going to be 2021. It's all going to be positive. You want to make sure that you're creating your online presence, build genuine and meaningful relationships, learn a new skill or many, share your talents and expertise with people by contributing to those various groups, and be open to new opportunities as they arise. You don't know where one conversation can lead you, so it's important to be open-minded and try new things. So for this session, as I mentioned before, I am a career coach. So I'm offering one free coaching session available to all attendees of this presentation. So you can send me an email with the code FREECOACH to redeem that if you're interested. And those are all my contact details listed there. So you can add me on LinkedIn, or this is where you can send me an email, Carolyn@careerinmotion.ca. So I want to thank you for attending my presentation, and let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. All right. I think I went a little bit over time, but if there's any questions, I think you can just type it in. Great, thanks, Alex.
Hi, Caroline. That was a great presentation.
Thanks, Alex.
It doesn't look like we have any questions here. So just for everyone watching, just to let you know, so that wraps up our last round of sessions for today. So we will have closing comments happening on the main stage in about 2 minutes, so at 3:55 p.m. So if you want to go ahead and head over there. Caroline, how can people reach you if they have any questions?
Yeah, so you can get me on LinkedIn. So it's LinkedIn/Carolyn MacLennan, or my email. Maybe I can just type it into the chat here
definitely.
so you can copy it. And thank you, Harpreet. I really appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thanks again.
It's in motion, not the
little comma.
Not the comma.
Thanks again for speaking. It was great.
Okay, thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.